Hi everyone, so my internet's being weird today, so I just wanted to make sure in case my internet went out, I had a video to direct you to. So today I'm going over a couple problems from the homework. You should have watched the Edpuzzle. These are examples that go along with the Edpuzzle, all right? So kind of the big piece of information you need to complete this worksheet is the idea that the square root of -1 equals I, all right? So we're going to kind of use this idea along with our idea of perfect squares to break down these radicals. So previously, you learned that you can break down positive root 75 into 25 and 3, which we know 25 times 3, we end up with 5 root 3. Well, now we're going to do something very similar, but instead we have a negative number in there as well. So we can break the -75 down into -1, -1, 25, and 3. Then we go ahead, we can cancel these out. Root -1 is equal to I. Root 25 is equal to 5. And we end up with root 3. So our answer here would be 5I root 3, which notice is very similar to root 75. We just have an I out in front now. All right. So we'll go ahead, we'll try number 5 here. We're going to try and break down 54. So of course we're going to take our -1 out in front. And we can break down 54 into 9 and 6. So we can go ahead and break that down further. Root -1 is equal to I. Root 9 is equal to 3, and then the 6 stays in there. But we're not done, right? We've got that 5 out in front. So remember last time, all you do is when you have a number out in front, you multiply it by whatever you pull out in front. So we end up with 15I root 6. So that's pretty much how you do 1 through 6. Now for number 7, it tells us to use the quadratic formula. So we're going to go ahead and identify A, B, and C. A equals 1, B equals 6, and C equals 54. So we're going to go ahead and plug this into the quadratic formula. We get -6 plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 4 times 1 times 54, all over our 2 times A, which is 1. Then we're going to go ahead, we're going to plug this guy into our calculator. Now, yesterday we learned that this is called a very specific name. It's called the discriminant. So you go ahead and you plug in 36 minus 4 times 1 times 54, and you should get root -200. Now, this is our discriminant, right? And we learned yesterday that when we have a positive discriminant, we've got 2 real solutions. When we have a discriminant of 0, we have one real solution. And when we have a negative discriminant, we have 2 imaginary solutions. So this problem tells us we're going to have 2 imaginary solutions, which means we should have I's in our answers. So we could go ahead and break down the root -200. We're going to break it down into -1, 102, which is going to give us I 10 root 2. So we end up with -6 plus or minus 10I root 2 all over 2. And then now we just need to simplify. We're going to pull a 2 out in front. We get -3 plus or minus 5I root 2 all over 2. Cancel those guys out. You get -3 plus 5I root 2 and -3 minus 5I root 2. Notice how these answers have I's in there, so they are imaginary.